Hello, Ubaldo Costa greets you again. I hope you're ready to start with this lesson. We're going to study the subject of methods in Java. Are you ready? Let's go. Methods in Java. As we mentioned earlier, a class consists of attributes and methods. The subject of methods is very broad. However, in this first introduction, we will see how we can create and use the methods we declare. In Java, a method must be inside a class. This is because Java is an object-oriented language, and therefore, one of the practices is that the methods must be part of a class to be correctly defined. So first, we have to define a class, and after that, we define the method. So we can observe the general definition of a method. First of all, we can observe the type that will return this method. Some methods does not return any particular value. So in Java, we will use the reserved word void for this case, where no value is returned. We can specify primitive types or object types, including those that we create, like the type person that we created previously. After the type, we specify the name of the method. We must remember that Java is a case-sensitive language, so we must respect the name of the method and use it as it's written. It's common for the name of the method to be an action, for example, insert person, delete student, etc. It's also common in Java to use the camel notation to write the names of both variables and methods, and in general all the names we write. This notation consists of writing the first letter in lowercase, and then the first letter of each word must be uppercase. As we progress, we will observe examples of these types of notations throughout the course. After the name, we specify the list of arguments, specifying first the type and then the name of the argument. For each argument that we want to add, we must separate them by comma. If the method does not have a list of arguments, we will only see that parentheses are open and closed. Finally, we will write the body of the method in curly braces. Everything we write inside these curly braces is what will execute the method. We can see the example of the add method. An important concept when defining method in Java is known as the signature of the method. In the case of the add method, the signature of the method would be int add and in parentheses 2 arguments of type int. This is the signature of the method. That is, the method returns an integer value, its name is add, and it receives 2 arguments of integer type. So the signature of this method tells us how we can use the method, what value to expect, and also whether we should send arguments or not, and what type these arguments are. Later, we will put this example into practice. Calling a method. General call of a method. Once we have added a method to a class, we can make use of it by doing the following. First, we must declare an object of the type of the class that has the method that we want to use. 2. By means of the declared objects, we use the dot operator. And after this operator, we write the name of the method that we want to call. Recall that in Java the names are case sensitive, so we must make the call to the method as we have written, respecting the uppercase and lowercase letters that we have used to define the method. 3. After the name of the method, we open and close parentheses. If the method does not receive any arguments, we only open and close parentheses. However, if the method was written to receive arguments, we must provide the arguments of the expected type, separating each of them by commas. And finally, if the method was written to return a value, it is optional to receive it with a variable of the type that returns the method. We should note that the type returned by a method does not have to be the same as the type of arguments received. For this, we must observe the signature of the method that we are going to use. So we have to remember the signature of the method that we're going to use. So example of calling a Java method, we define a variable of type arithmetic, we create an object of this type, and we call the add method and receive the return value. So we add the method using the a variable, calling the add method, and passing the arguments 5 and 3. And the result we assign it to the variable called result of type int. So we observe that the method received 2 arguments of integer type, but it could be any other type. Later, we will put this example and several others into practice, so that the declaration and use of methods become clearer and clearer.